Hi friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, I create content on discipleship, femininity, and productivity. So if that sounds like your type of thing, go ahead and click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. We are now in part 4 of the Becoming Her series, which is a study through Proverbs 31. And all of the material that we are talking about in this series is to help single women prepare for marriage. We are going to go ahead and pick up in Proverbs 31, verse 13, and this is what it reads. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. There's another translation out there that says she works with eager hands. But despite whatever translation you have or the word choices used, we know that just from reading this verse that she has a spirit of excellence, that she works hard, and that she is a good steward of what's been given to her. I want to talk to you today about how well you are stewarding your season of singleness. How well are you stewarding the resources and the time that God has given you in this current season? Part of being a human is we always have a desire for more, okay? As people, we always want more. And when we get that thing that we wanted so bad, we enjoy it for a few days and then we're ready for the next thing. It's just part of our human nature. And honestly, that's something that we have to submit to God every day. Every day we have to pick up our cross, we have to choose to follow Jesus, and we have to die to our flesh. I don't think stewardship is spoken about a lot. Maybe it is, but personally, I don't really hear stewardship spoken about a lot. And I think that's because we live in a society today that's just all about overconsumption, comparison, getting ahead, making more money. And so when it comes to a topic like stewardship, some of you might be like, Amber, I don't even know what that is. The word stewardship derives from the word steward, and the word steward means manager. So when we're talking about stewardship, it has to do with how well you manage the resources that you have. Okay, and from a biblical perspective, we're talking about how well we manage God's resources. Okay, because we know that everything we have does not belong to us, it belongs to God, and He has simply entrusted us with those things. And that word stewardship makes me think, even on a deeper level, the relationship that we have with the things that we manage. Okay, because look, if you fear God, then you do not take lightly the things that you have. I even think about what excellence means, right? Like having a spirit of excellence. That means that you're not striving to be perfect. You're just striving to do your very best. And I believe that when people steward the things they have well, they bring to the table a spirit of excellence. Okay, if you have a spirit of excellence, you're going to steward your resources well. I don't believe it's possible to have one without the other. So as I mentioned, I really want you to assess what your stewardship looks like right now. I want you to, as we go throughout this video and talk about different things, I just want you to really think about how maybe you can grow in these different areas. And look, I might talk about some stuff, and for some of you, you might give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, I think I'm doing pretty well at that. And as always, I don't want you to beat yourself up if you at some point feel like, man, I'm just not there yet. That's okay. Look, all of us are on a journey. Some of us are more ahead than others, but none of us have fully arrived yet, okay? We all need the Holy Spirit. And so if at any point you become discouraged, you feel like you're being picked on, look, I don't want to pick on you, but I am going to keep it real because I am accountable to the things I do say and the things I don't say, okay? I'm trying to prepare y'all for marriage. I've been married now for 3 years, and let me tell you, everything I am teaching y'all, I have had to face myself, okay? I am not going to tell you something that I don't do. I'm not going to talk about something I haven't had to confront within myself, okay? I'm a very transparent, open person. Some things might be uncomfortable to hear. We have to talk about them, right? Because we want to grow in the area of biblical womanhood. The first area of focus is time. What are you doing with your time? When I was single, I had so many friends who acted like, marriage was the ultimate part of life, okay? Like, I knew women that put marriage on a high pedestal. It became a god to them, honestly. They just glorified it so much. And I went through that as well in my early 20s. That was me too. But as I started growing in my faith, I started to realize, this time I have as a single woman, I'll never get back. And it's actually beautiful because, I had friends that were married and I saw what their lives looked like. And I'm not saying it looked bad, but, I understood that marriage is a sacrifice. When you get married, your life is no longer about you, okay? You then come alongside your husband. You become his helpmate. You now have to sacrifice time, maybe doing things you would have wanted to do to now serve this other person. I recognize that my friends who had kids, oh my goodness, right? Some of y'all have kids right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you have kids, it's really game over. And it's not game over like it's bad. It's game over as in, wow, my life is really no longer my own. Like, and some people say for 18 years, you have to make sacrifices. No, I believe motherhood is a continual thing. I don't believe there's an end date to it. I don't have kids, but I have friends and family members who do. And I see how much they have to sacrifice. As soon as you bring that baby home, it starts to slip away from you. So when you are a single woman, it's beautiful that you have all the time in the world to just enjoy it being you and God. That's it. So there's just so many things that you get to do. You just have all this freedom, right? But how well are you managing that? Because for some of you, you're not managing your time well because you're spending your time hyper-focused on another person in their life. We do this with social media. Some of you are scrolling and you're looking at this person, oh, her life seems so this or that, right? Maybe you have friends who are married and you're just so obsessed with da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, they're looking at you like, girl, must be nice. You can just take off and go on a trip. I wish, right? Let me tell you, there's always going to be something about you or your life that another person wishes that they had, okay? And I shouldn't say wishes that they had. I should use the word admires, because not everybody is, jealous or envious, right? There are people, I admire a lot of things about them. It doesn't mean I want their life. It just means I see things that are admirable. And so, for some of you right now, like, you're single, but let me tell you, and look, I really own my singleness. There's nothing in my singleness I look back at and I regret. I really, really, I made the most of that season, okay? But even as a single woman, there were women who I felt a way about me because I had all that freedom, right? So going back to what I was saying though, how much time are you wasting being focused on other people and their lives and what they're doing? There's a passage of scripture, it's one of my favorites, and I want to say it's in 1 Thessalonians. I hope it is. But it says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your hands so you don't owe anybody anything. Now let me tell you something. When you maximize your time, you're not leaving room for a lot of nonsense or foolishness. Okay? We know that the Bible talks about idleness, and we know that it talks about, the people who sleep the most, they're going to be poor. Okay? Look, sleep is good. We love sleep, but too much sleep, and that leads to poverty. So even in the Bible, it talks about the importance of time and what you do with your time. It tells us in the New Testament to make the most of every opportunity. You only get one life. And look, y'all, we're not promised tomorrow. So we've got to really take our time management very seriously. Time is irreplaceable. So once it's gone, it's gone. Okay. Now we're going to get even deeper into our second area of focus. I think I only have like maybe 3 or 4 points, and so it's going to get heavier with each one. But I want y'all to know I love you, but we have to talk about it. Money management. Y'all, one of my biggest pet peeves, I'm just going to keep it real. Like, I'm just going to be very frank about this. I don't understand people who have the audacity to be jealous of someone or envious of someone because they have a life, they've got this life that the person wants. But if you look at the person who's being the hater, if you look at them, right? They're idle. They're lazy. They have no type of self-control when it comes to money. But they will look at another person's life and they'll want their life. They'll feel like they're entitled to have everything that that person has. Meanwhile, they have not developed the self-control or the discipline to be able to even handle what that person has to handle. Is that not delusional, or is it just me? Because I feel like that's not normal, okay? That's not normal. I'm the kind of person, when I've seen other people do things well, when I've admired a person's work ethic or I've admired something, I go to them and I ask questions, right? I go to them and I ask questions. I'm very nerdy. I like to get information about things that are going to help me be better, okay? Maybe that's why I love reading the Bible so much. You know what I'm saying? I love the Bible because in the Bible, I don't have to go out, by reading the Bible, I don't have to go out and experiment with things in life to see, is it going to backfire? What's going to happen? No, like read Proverbs. It has all the wisdom, Ecclesiastes, all this stuff. And like when you read it, it's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense, right? But I don't understand. And I blame social media. I really blame social media because social media paints this picture to people that it's so easy. It's like that Geico saying, it's so easy a caveman could do it. That's how social media puts things out, right? So anyways, let me back up. But when it comes to money management, right, there are people, maybe it's even you, like you want more for your life. And as humans, as part of being a human, we always want more. We desire more. But we have to be real with ourselves at the same time. I think about how God is such a good father. And he's a good father for multiple reasons. But one of the reasons that makes God such a good father is that he knows us better than we know ourselves. And he knows our level of stewardship. Okay, like he knows where we are in our journey of being a good steward. So something he does is he makes us wait for the things that we want. Because there are things that we want, but because of our maturity level, we wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay, so the thing could be a good thing. It could be a really good thing. Like for some of you, you want a husband. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But, and I want to be careful. I'm not saying some of you don't have husbands because of your maturity level. I'm not saying that. However, maturity is a big piece. Let's not get it twisted. But let's even tie it into this video, right? We're talking about stewardship. So if you are not that great at managing even your relationship with God, how well are you going to be able to manage a relationship with a man, right? It all ties in together. But even going back to money, there are people out there and they want to make $450,000 a year. But right now, in their current season, the Lord has entrusted them with 45,000. That's the portion he's given them. And they can't even manage that. So it's like, well, why would he give you more? Right? Because he knows if he gave you more, you would be a hot mess. Okay? I had a friend who used to be a teacher, and there was a famous rapper, and his son was in her class, and she said the boy was like in first grade, and she said, for the life of me, I don't understand why this dad would send his son to school with hundreds of dollars, like a little 5 or 6 year old boy. And so the boy comes to school, he's got all this money, it's falling out of his pocket, he's losing it, he can't keep up. So she comes alongside to try to be helpful, and she takes his money and she puts it in a little Ziploc bag, and she's like, hey, I'm just going to set this here. It's still your money, but I want you to know it's in my desk, because you're losing your money. Well, he felt the way about it and told his dad, so his dad comes and has a conversation with her, and she said, personally, I see he's young and he can't manage all of this money. And what's happening is he's coming to school and he's losing it, or his classmates are taking it. Sometimes he gives it to them, but it's a distraction and it's not helping him. She said, and furthermore, he can't even count the money. Like, he can't count it. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but he can't count the money. His dad said he knows how to count money. Okay, well, pull his money out. So they start counting his money, and it proved her point. He didn't know what was what, y'all. It was a hot mess, and his dad was like, oh, okay, you're right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help but think about that being, our relationship with the Lord. Like, why would he entrust us with more if we can't handle the little we have, right? Or for some of us, we're still learning and we're still growing in money management skills. And so he's going to be gracious and kind to give us that time to learn. Now, for some people, they have no desire to learn. Okay, they just want to be rich. They just want the money. All right, and when you look at how Satan operates, when you see how Satan is with his offspring, because he got his kids too, he gives them anything that they want. Child, he gives them anything. And don't y'all see what happens to people? Look at celebrities. Look at Hollywood. Look at these people. Have you ever seen somebody? I see this a lot with athletes, actually. But, they've never had anything of value, and overnight they get $1 million check and they go buck wild. Okay? They go buck wild with that. And they just make a lot of poor decisions and they end up with nothing. Okay? It's crazy the amount of people who've had all this money who end up bankrupt, they end up in debt, they end up losing everything. And you're thinking to yourself, so you mean to tell me they had all this money and not one financial advisor or not one friend to come and help them? My friends, I want to encourage you that as a single woman, learn how to manage money. Maybe you need to take that Dave Ramsey Financial Peace. Maybe you make good money, but you're like, I could definitely use some help when it comes to investing this money or something. Get a financial advisor. Some of you just need to learn how to budget, period. Okay, I had to do this as a single woman, and we're going to talk more about money later and different things like that. But I just want to challenge you now. And another thing that can be a tough pill to swallow is when it comes to your debt. When it comes to any debt you might have, when you're single, while you have the time, tackle your debt. If you are a single woman and you went to college and you got your bachelor's, master's, PhD, whatever, look, it's great that you did that. But do you and your future family a favor and tackle that debt. Tackle it, y'all, because I am telling you, personally, I feel a way about debt, especially when it comes to like student loans. And I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm just being honest for a second. I see at least in America, you have 18-year-olds going into a crazy amount of debt at such a young age. And to me, it's like this vicious cycle. And you have to spend how many years of your life paying the debt back? Like, to me, that just really, I just think that's so messed up to be so young and to go into an enormous amount of debt. Personally, my parents, which at the time I thought they were so mean for this, but they told me, you're not taking out any student loans. You need to go to college, but you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm like, who does that? Like, that's not even realistic. But you know what? From the time I was 19 till I was 24, I went to school full time and I worked full time. And even after scholarships, I received a lot of them. But even after that, by God's grace, I still paid close to $30,000 of my own money toward my college education. And let me tell you, that was so hard. I don't want to go back to those years. But at the same time, I would do it again because I went on ahead and I did the hard thing early in the beginning. And so now I don't owe anything. Okay, I feel totally free. So I want y'all to know that some of these things seem impossible. It's not. Okay, it just starts taking those little steps first. For our last area of focus, I want to talk to you about your life skills. Okay, I want to talk to you about your basic life skills. And I know some of y'all are thinking life skills are so basic. Yeah, they are, but they're not so common. Okay, I was thinking about it earlier. And, I was just talking to the Lord this morning. And I said, something that I see as a waste are people who have all this wealth, all these resources, but they don't know how to take care of themselves. Like, they don't know how to clean up after themselves. They don't know how to cook for themselves. Like, to me, that's a shame. I'm sorry. That's just a shame to me. When I was growing up, my parents were so broke. But you know what? They knew basic life skills. Okay? And they taught me basic life skills. All right? And I used to be a caseworker for a children's home. And I used to supervise the independent living program there as well. And I remember part of my role as that supervisor was I had to teach young women basic life skills because they grew up in a children's home. Now they're like college age. Okay, they're going out into the real world, but because their parents were absent, for some of them at least, who didn't come from the actual children's home, they didn't know basic life skills. I had to teach them how to cook. I had to show them the appropriate standard of cleanliness. And, I don't have anything against those women. I don't think it's a shame they didn't know. I'm actually glad I could come alongside and teach them. But you would be surprised how many people don't know those things, okay? And for some of you watching right now, you might be thinking, oh no, like I'm sorry, Amber, everything else was good, but I'm not about to be in a house cleaning and cooking because I'm a boss chick. I don't do that. Baby, you can be a boss chick all you want to. But I don't understand, though, how we can have this idea that we're going to go and give the world our very best, our 1010%, but when it comes to our home, when it comes to our families, when it comes to ourselves, we settle. We do the bare minimum. That to me is just not rational. Okay? And knowing basic life skills has nothing to do with your female anatomy. All right? When I was a caseworker, I had 16-year-old boys that knew how to clean and they knew recipes. Okay? Every week, one of them had to make a meal for the whole cottage with the help of their house parents, of course. We didn't do child labor. But I had a few boys that would just get so excited, like, oh, this week on Thursday, I'm cooking for the whole cottage and I need to find a recipe. I want to do something I've never done before. Or, oh, they really like this baked chicken I did, so I think I'm going to do that one again because that was a hit, right? But 16-year-old boys that knew how to clean, that know how to cook. They know how to clean up a kitchen after they've cooked in it, okay? Amen. But and look, y'all, and going back to having a spirit of excellence and stewardship, okay, let me tell you, mindset is everything. I have found that people who have a spirit of excellence usually are really good stewards of what they have, okay? And you know why? Because behind good stewardship and behind a spirit of excellence, what's rooted in that is gratitude. When you practice gratitude, when you have gratitude in your heart, it just reflects in how you show up and in the things that you do. Okay? When you truly appreciate the things God is giving you, you're going to take care of them. Okay? Look, and the thing, y'all, with life skills is that these are not things that you naturally want to do. Okay? It's not things that you naturally just want to do. Now, there are people who have fallen in love with cleaning. They've fallen in love with cooking. But just like exercise, even people who love to exercise, in the beginning, they did not like it. Okay? In the beginning, they had to work a muscle that they were not used to. But as they've done it more and more and over, they're like, you know what? I like how this makes me feel. Right? For the person that likes to work out, they might not like the workout itself, but they love the results. Even people like myself, I actually love cooking. Like, to me, it's so much fun. But what I love about it is I like to see other people, or my husband, really. I like to see his reaction to a dish that I made. Right? I like to keep my house clean because I love the way it makes me feel. When I'm cleaning, I'm not like, oh, this is so great, I just love this. I don't feel like that. But I love how I feel when my house is clean. I love that my husband, after a long day of work and dealing with the world and all its craziness, can come into a home that's neat, clean, and orderly. Okay? It makes you feel good. I love that when people come to my house, they say, your house is just so peaceful. It's so tranquil. Every person that's ever spent the night at my house will tell you that's the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life. I don't say that to brag. I say that because what's rooted in me is gratitude. I know that throughout my life, the odds have been stacked against me. There are people who've been waiting for me to fail. When my husband and I stepped out into full-time entrepreneurship, people felt a way about that. They thought we would fail. But look, God has not left us. God has sustained us. And I believe that my home is a testament to God and what he can do. I don't live in a mansion, but I take pride in my home. I think it's beautiful. I'm thankful God entrusted me with a place that I can come into and just have calm in my life. And I take care of it because it doesn't belong to me. So instead of me saying, oh, I have to clean my house, I get to clean my house. Instead of me saying, oh, I have to cook, no, I get to cook. And once again, it has nothing to do with my female anatomy. It has everything to do with being a good steward and managing well what the Lord has given me. My goal as a godly wife is to put God first and put my family second. I want to be the type of wife and the type of mother where I show up for my family before I show up for the world, okay? The world can wait. My family is my first ministry, and what a shame it would be to give the world all of me and then my family gets whatever is left over, okay? That's not the example I want to set or live by. And to each his own, that's just me. But going back to this verse, it says that she seeks wool and flax and she works with willing hands. She's a hard-working woman. In this life, you have to work hard and you have to do hard things. The Lord loves you. He loves you a lot. But that doesn't mean he's going to give you everything that you want. That doesn't mean that a miracle is just going to happen and you're just going to wake up one day rolling in the dough. Or for some of you, you want a mansion. All you do is look at these big houses. But when it comes to your 500 square foot apartment, it's a hot mess. I'm not trying to pick on nobody. I'm just saying. We've got to steward. If you want more, if you want God's very best for your life, you've got to steward what you have now, and you've got to steward it well. God is not... Let me say this. When you look at certain books in the Old Testament, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, whatever, and you see those books are not the most exciting ones, but you see when they're like building the temple and everything, and you have to read all these measurements and read all about these different materials, right? You really see, though, how God is. Because he's the one telling them what to do, but you see how detailed he is, right? He's so meticulous. I would like to think that my meticulousness is God's image in me. I really like to believe that. But we see that he's so orderly. He likes things a certain way. Look at the world. Look at what he created. Y'all don't see how meticulous. Look at human anatomy. How meticulous it is. God is not one for filth, y'all. He's not. Oh my gosh. No, it's only by the blood of Jesus that we can even stand in his presence, right? I'm trying to tell y'all, he don't like that. And so I need y'all to like really hear that. Keep your house clean. Keep your car clean. Please. The inside of your refrigerator. It matters. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. So let's act like it, okay? That's the sweetest, most gentle way I can put it. And look, y'all, we're going to have seasons of life and days where we don't get it right, okay? Like, it's going to happen. But at least do your best. I want to see you experience all that God has for you. I want you to experience it all. But I know from my life, okay, my past, that how you show up now in the present day, that determines the outcome of where you're going. It determines a lot of things. So make sure that you remember that. All right, y'all, I've kept you long enough. I did not expect for this video to be so long, but thank you for sticking around and following the whole thing. I hope this made sense. I hope that this was given to you in an orderly way. But if you enjoyed today's video, leave a comment below. What area of focus really stood out to you the most? Where do you think you need to get it together? And look, y'all, we're all getting it together. We're all doing it, okay? Also, please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We would love to have you join our online community. And before you go, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and share it with another single friend or family member. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Take care.